Hello guys, and welcome to the fourth part of my tutorial how to create a basic CRUD system in PHP. And if you remember from the last part, we left here when we were able to create names using this form here. You can see this link, add new person, transfers us to this form, and using this form we were able to create new records, the records that you are seeing right now here. In this tutorial, this part of this tutorial, I will add the functionality of deleting a record. Now we are able to create, and then if we need to delete any of these names here, we would click a link which will enable us to delete the record. And let's quickly begin with that. Right before the end loop here, I'm gonna create a div tag with a class of toolbar. I assume you know how to create HTML, so I'm not gonna explain here what these attributes are. If you don't, then I recommend you better learn HTML first and then the PHP part, since everything will be output in HTML. It's a very important part of your web development, let's say, ability to know how to code HTML first and then the dynamic websites later. Now I'm gonna go ahead and create a link here. I'm gonna say delete, save here, and I'm gonna reload here, and you can see here that we have this link delete here, and right now it doesn't do anything. We haven't added the functionality yet. This is just the HTML. I'm gonna go ahead and add the functionality here. Now, as you know, this href tag is a link, a hyperlink, which sends us to a certain page, and that page in my case would be the same as my as a present page here, data display.php, and I will pass a parameter here, URL variable, and I'm gonna say row ID is equal to, or just ID, or record ID. Sorry guys for being too lazy naming here. Basically what we said here, we assigned an URL to this a tag, data display.php, and after the URL we wanted to add this variable, record ID, and the record ID would be equal to the ID of the row here, as this variable here, row. And I'm gonna go ahead and reload here. If I go ahead and hover over this delete link, you can see down that a record ID is being here. As you can see, if you see here at the bottom, you can see the data underscore display.php, where record ID is equal to 9 is appearing, meaning that we would be redirected, as you can see here, on the same page, but now the URL has this extension here, record ID is equal to 10. Now we're gonna grab this using PHP, gonna grab this variable and its value here. Do that, I'm gonna go to the top here, and I recommend you to, if possible, to keep all your PHP code at the top and all the HTML code at the bottom if possible, because it's better rendered in the browser, since we need first to execute the PHP code and then to render them in HTML. But remember always, if that is possible. I'm gonna say if is set get. This is how we get the variable from the URL here, this part, get, and I'm gonna go ahead and copy this, copy, oops, record ID, gonna say here ID is equal to, and if you remember from the previous part of this tutorial, I've escaped these values here to protect the application from from SQL injections. I would say MySQL real escape string get record ID. Now if this, now basically what this means if set this variable here, then we are going to create a new variable called ID, then check for any MySQL injections here, and then next we need to delete to create the SQL function here, functionality to delete the record. And as you saw here, I copied this SQL here, go ahead and paste here, and I'm gonna rename SQL delete, or forget about that, create your own SQL string, or I'm gonna SQL delete is equal to delete from people where, now we are using conditional statement here, we're gonna go ahead and delete a row where, or rows where ID is equal to, remember here this curly braces here means that we're using a variable inside the string ID. Then we're gonna go ahead and say MySQL query SQL delete or die MySQL error. Now you already know what this bit of code here does. It shows an error if this query fails here, and then down here if this code succeeds, I'm gonna go ahead and redirect the page here to the same page. I'm gonna go ahead and copy the file name to the clipboard. I'm gonna say here header location, I'm gonna paste data display.php here, and then I'm gonna exit here since I don't want to execute any more code down here. Let's save this code here. I'm gonna reload the browser, reload, and as you saw here, since we had a URL here with a variable, that record was deleted from here. Now I'm gonna go ahead and delete this other name here, delete, and that was deleted successfully. I'll go ahead and delete this too, this one too, delete, 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 and now we're remained with no records here to display. We deleted everything, but we don't need to worry about that. Now we have the functionality to add new record. I'm gonna go ahead and say John Doe and the record was edited successfully. I go ahead and click here, return to the main page, and we have a new record here. Now that's it for this part, and in the next part I will show you how to not delete but edit the information that we have here and make us possible to correct any errors that we might have inputted here in our in editing our records. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next part.